right? So today, if you see, we've been speaking about robotic process automation, and maybe there are various areas where you already have your bots implemented into production, or maybe you have already started journey, or maybe your industry is already to a certain extent, like you have scaled your automation. The three key pillars you always encounter when you start working with automation is scale, encourage, and promote. And you see, scale means maybe you started with small business group, or let's say one function. And your next step, once you start working with various spots in production, is how do you scale it to the other functions? How do you bring various other business unit to your own single like automation premises what you have already started with? There are once this is there, the next topic is to how do you encourage team members, which they might think about, okay, oh, do I know already what is my automation opportunity, or sometimes they may be interested to explore what is there as part of other business functions what they're doing. And same way, how do you promote your various usage? One of the thing is reusability. Various organization automation at a COE driven you are developing. How do you drive those or promote your automation so other as business users or the everyone in your organization get benefit out of it? So all these problems basically how we are trying to resolve is through automation hub. Basically automation is the centralized cloud platform. Like today is not an on-premise, but at least it's a cloud portal where you will bring this capability of consolidating your entire thing into one place. Your entire idea platform is consolidated at one place, where various personas are coming together and collaborating with each other, bringing your idea from ideation phase till it moves to production. And here, all different personas, as I said, someone who is business user who has the idea, or someone from the development team who is curating the automation, or someone from the project management team who is governing the entire automation. So all this is placed one place store where the ideas are getting submitted, thus being managed at one place. And it also goes like top-down approach or bottom-up approach, like someone giving an idea or moving it to the automation stage, or some automation can be developed by citizen user where they published for others to use, and you just expanding your capability of automation throughout enterprise. If you see the automation hub offering, like what exactly it is offer as a solution, like what the key capability of automation, if you just focus towards the right part, it says first is your idea generation. So automation have as a internal built-in capability where team will be able to submit the idea very easy, intuitive manner. The questions are very simple. So suppose someone has an idea, it will not burden the user with a lot of volumetry information or benefit details, but just to capture the idea, this is designed in a way, it just asks about how good your idea is. Very simplified way, it will capture the idea. And the moment someone submit the idea, it also has that capability to evaluate the idea whether it's the right automation candidate or not, right? It has some built-in algorithm which will validate and show in score like how much percentage it seems automatically. And that's not all. It has also the gamification layer on top of it. For example, someone submitting the idea, but what as a return they're also getting back is a point badge, so that they can always see a leaderboard saying, okay, how I as a user contributing to the community, or I as a user contributing to the organization. And same way, what others are doing, who are the top contributors. So there is a gamification on leaderboard, which brings that layer of interest to be collaborative into the tool. It's not only the gamification is not only to submit the idea, but it also has any action being performed, right? You are maybe you're commenting somewhere or collaborating somewhere, or developers are developing some automation. So every actions there is a badge, a point. That's the gamification layer on top of it. That's about idea generation. You're generating the idea, you're getting the points, badge, and all. But the next layer is during the idea submission, you are just get the idea with a very minimized question, but that may not be the right answer to bring that automation to real development. That's where it goes by a different process of assessment, and different it gives a different layers of pipeline management. It has all that layer of pipeline management. And with that pipeline management, when it comes for development, this very big topic comes as a decision making, which is the prioritized idea to get developed, which needs to be put in the funnel for prioritization as the next phase, or which would be rejected for some obvious region of ROI and other topic. So all this is part of automation hub, where it will give you that feature to manage your pipeline, prioritize your project, as well as visualize all the dashboard capability like ROI and other stuff. And one more feature is related to the process design document. As you know, there is a product called Task Capture, which helps to capture the process design document in an automated fashion. So process design document through Task Capture is a built-in functionality in Automation Hub. So suppose someone submit idea, the very immediate step it asks to submit uh, the document, and the document can be created with Edge, like with Edge through Task Capture. It has the license by default. Like suppose you already have Automation Hub license, then you get the Task Capture license by default. So it launched the automation Task Capture from Automation Hub and record the entire session the way a user wants to, and user can directly publish the PDD with single click. So we'll see that with a small demo as well. And finally, it has the capability of managing your component gallery. So you will, let's say a developer community has a lot of reusable libraries. Suppose as we are developing, maybe we created an automation component using our custom activity. Let's say there is a custom activity. We created a custom activity that is doing some work. You want everybody to use it. You can publish it to automation now, which can be explored by developers, and it can be linked to project as well. So this is how it's bringing different capability. We'll just go deep dive into each of this. If you see the command center, right, the entire automation of how this is categorized, the primary, it has three key pillars, right? One is automation community workspace, the enterprise community workspace, where basically personas are interacting, they're submitting idea, submitting documents, the various users are collaborating. That's the community space. And you have a pipeline management. That's where the different set of roles comes, where they validate the project, track the project, and then take a decision and measure the ROI. And third piece is making users avail, like make the bot for everyone concept, right? If you recollect the concept of bot for everyone, where you need to be assigned with a automation. Suppose there is a, you are as a end user, you are just exploring the tool and you come across one of the automation, you're interested to use that. So automation store is the concept through which, while you're exploring the tool, if you have attended license and you already have a digital assistant in your machine, it is just a single click for you. Just click on get, and you get your automation directly to your digital assistant. So that's the cool feature here. You don't need to go via various process to get any automation to your digital assistant. With automation store, which is a built-in capability in cloud with automation hub, with single click, it's added directly to your personal workspace. So these are the three key pillars acting as a command center for automation hub. Now, if you expand further in terms of how these ideas are getting generated, who are all submitting them now, what is the life cycle? Let's discuss that. So when it comes for idea submission, there are two ways ideas getting submitted. One is called employee driven, and the second is called COA driven. So it depends on the personal role, like the role assigned to the user. If a user being assigned with the authorized role user, like the admin team who is creating your access, they can give which role to assign to which user. Basically, whenever you get your automation hub instance created, there is an admin account also attached to it. So admin has those controls to create new role. Like you remember this, there is a customized option. You can create your own role. You can define your own role and that privilege. But there are certain role which comes by default, which cannot be changed as well. So one of that role is authorized user. If you give authorized user role to someone, that person can submit idea directly as a COA driven idea. And if any user who is having access to automation hub, they will have the standard user role. And standard user role means you have the idea submission role access, like you can submit employee driven idea. If you see the difference between employee driven and COA driven, the only small difference is does not go by idea approval stage when it comes for a COA driven idea. What happens in a normal idea submission process is, first, as a standard user, think about this tool is live for business. And business got an idea saying, I want to automate my invoice processing. So let's say I want to automate my uh, Outlook monitoring. So with that idea, as a standard user, I'll go to automation hub and using simple 9 question, I'll submit my idea. It will not ask any different question, but just a simple form, just to understand the idea, the data quality, the change application quality, and other stuff. So that's where the idea getting submitted. So we have a layer of approvers who will validate, saying, okay, if the idea which is submitted, whether it's primarily qualifying for an automation idea or not, because that's the area where idea approval come into picture, who will evaluate with these basic questions before it start to go further steps. And some common scenario is there might be chances of duplicate ideas, right? Someone submitting idea, it may be duplicate, where already existing idea exists. Then idea approvers can also mark that, saying, okay, this is the idea which is already exist. So that's the layer where standard users, employee who has basic information, like they know there is a mundane work in their business, they want to automate it, they submit through employee driven. Some scenarios where COE already aware, right? There's the COE team already aware this is a potential automation opportunity, and COE is driving that automation, and they don't need to go via the rule of, okay, I need to go by idea approver because I already have all the information. Like when I say already have all the information, meaning you know what's the process volumetry details, what's the benefit it's going to be. So all the details is asked during the assessment phase. So if the COA team already aware of the assessment details, then instead of doing this idea submission and goes by assessment, they can directly submit to assessment. But remember, whether the idea comes for employee driven or CO driven, it always goes to assessment. From here, it is common always. Like it is a matter of only one step where it is screened by the idea approvers when it is submitted. And if it is CO driven, it goes directly to assessment phase. And this is the phases it goes by. Like we see here, the multiple phase and status for any idea. Suppose someone submits the idea, it will initially start with the phase called idea, then it goes to assessment, qualification, analysis, solution design until live. This each block you see in the circle is a phase, and each phase will follow certain status. Like if you see this on top, there's a idea phase has this status called awaiting review, approve, reject, duplicate, and archive. That means one idea, once it is in idea phase, it will fall under one of the status. Initially, when the idea is submitted, it will be the status called awaiting review. So once the idea approvers review it, he can take this decision to say, okay, approve, reject, duplicate, or archive this. And subsequently, each of the phase has its own status. Likewise, if you are part of a development team and you come across this stage development and you being assigned to one idea, you will start this updating the status, like non started, on track, cancel, on hold, and all this status. So and it also goes till live. And most of the status during the implementation phase are managed by project managers. So each of this phase has one typical role who will manage it. Like every phase, like let's say suppose once you submit your idea, this start with a standard user, but each of the block has one ownership. Like for example, this idea, that means there is a role called idea approver who owns this particular role, like phase, who needs to action on it. Similarly, assessment will be done by a process owner. So process owners has to provide a lot of question details, and qualification is owned by program manager. That's a designated super user role. And analysis till live, it goes by project manager to manage projects. And similarly, other collaborative roles are also part of it, which is like developers, solution architect, and you can also create your own customized role. There is no first rule you have to follow. But when I say idea approver, that those are some standard roles which you cannot modify, neither edit it, because this is part of your life cycle. This brings a topic for us saying idea life cycle. But we just discussed, generally this is the way your ideas moves. This is the top down approach, where someone got idea who is nothing but a submitter. Anyone having standard user role is a submitter. You submit idea, it goes to idea approvers. Like that's why you see the status called awaiting review. So idea is your phase, it goes to awaiting review, your first status. Now the persona who comes into picture here is the person who is having role called idea approver. Any idea which is getting submitted, it gets submitted to one of the category or function, whatever you want to call. What is that? Like for example, you are as a CEO, you are driving 4 different functions. Let's say finance, customer support, supply chain, and all. you can design automation hub in a way that it is customizable. You can define finance is one category, cs is customer support is another category, marketing is another category. So any idea which is getting submitted, it can submit against that category. For example, there's the idea for customer support, the team can submit that for customer support. Similarly for finance, they can select that category. It's a mandatory field, you have to select the category so that idea is grouped under one particular defined category, so it can be accessed accordingly. So when we create this idea approvers, these are the roles assigned for that category itself. Like for example, it's a finance category and you have an idea approver for finance. So any idea submitted for finance, it will be auto notified to the idea approver of finance, and he or she needs to action with one of the status called approve, mark as delete, sorry, mark as duplicate or reject. So if it is approved, then immediately it goes to assessment phase, right? If you remember the circle phase, toggle between this thing idea, then goes to assessment phase. So the owner for this assessment phase is a process owner, the person with the role. Basically, this is a pseudo role. Like it is, you cannot create a user with process owner. Remember, it is not exist. That role is it's by default. Whenever any idea getting submitted, you as a submitter can decide who would be your process owner. What is definition of process owner? Process owner is the person who has more knowledge or more details about the idea. It could be the person SME, or it could be someone from a business who has the knowledge saying what is the process volumetry information, what's the quantitative or qualitative benefit attached to the automation. So all this goes to the process owner. The process owner will then evaluate the idea because it is qualified by the idea approver saying this is a good candidate for automation. Then it goes to assessment process owner who will further provide more details, which is very much necessary in terms of prioritizing the idea for the development. So during this assessment phase, primary question which is attached to this is what's the process volumetry information, like how many transactions it is processing, how many people are working, how much hours they work, what is the basic headcount details, whether this is a cost, quality, or productivity type of idea. Like this idea submitted, which following category it is doing. So all this is additional details which is not captured during the idea submission phase. It goes to the assessment where the process owner fill out a form and it further submitted or submit assessment for further qualification. So that's where the once the assessment is done, you will submit the assessment. The status change or the phase change to qualification, where the person I come is program manager who will take one of this action again, which is status called approve, put on hold because maybe it is not prioritized, keeping your bandwidth, your delivery team bandwidth, and it can be rejected as well. Once program manager approves it, one of the action attached to program manager is called assign a project manager to your idea. Like suppose I as a program manager approves an idea, then immediately ask me assign the project manager so that project manager will take it further for the implementation phase, which has this following categories like analysis, solution design, development, testing, and live. So this is how the idea life cycle starts from an idea submission and it goes till the implementation phase. So this is the idea where it goes from top down. Which one of the category which I didn't bring to this today's topic is bottom up approach. It will be kind of little bit reverse. When bottom up approach applies is suppose a citizen developers, your citizen developers already having Studio X license. Then what happens is they create the automation without, they might not submit the idea, but they started creating the automation. But after automation is developed, they realize that automation can be shared with various other users with that benefit, whatever the benefit it is bringing, some head count or hour saving. So once they have the automation already ready, then they can submit that automation as a ready to consume automation. That's a shareable solution. You are not submitting the idea, but you are submitting a solution. What will happen in that case is the idea will be screened further by the technical review team who will approve it so that it will start appear on the ready to consume automation category. That's the kind of bottom up approach. But yes, that is another life cycle attached. But most of the life cycle, which is part of automation of through ideation phase, goes by this way. Let's further deep dive into the workspace and different categories. What all options we have. Do you have any question? Asvika. All right. Okay, if you're not speaking, please go on mute. If you have any question, feel free to pause me. We can discuss. So in case of a workspace, what happens is your enterprise community, you're basically getting a, this is the interface how you see the automation hub. We will go to practical, let's see a bit more detail. But one of the things to notice is you get your profile. Once you logged in, any user you invite, they get a profile. And you can see all these categories like what all automations you are linked to, where are your contributors. Some automations you will submit, you can see all the automations you are submitting with your name. So that's where you can see the status, how many people are interested, who are all collaborating. Like for example, if you see this ideas, this is the user submitted, let's say 4 ideas. You can see, okay, this is an idea phase waiting for review. That means it is still under the first phase only. If you see the last one, it's already approved by the idea approver and it's under awaiting assessment to be done. So process owner is still working on it. If you see these points, any ideas which is you submit, you're really getting a point and you're getting a badge. So, and remember, it's not only to the submitting idea. As I said, when you start collaborating in your idea, you get points. And sometimes if your idea get turned into live and really started showing benefits, you also start getting badge. That's the way. You submit an idea, you got a point. But the moment your idea get qualified to next stage and moving from one place, one ladder to another, you are getting point and badges accordingly. So that's how the community profile is managed. There is another section to notice is once you submit idea, this is the place how you can see saying your idea. This is the idea is invoice processing EMEA, where it is submitted under the category called finance and accounting, accounts payable and invoice processing. So that's how the categories are displayed. As I said, any idea is submitting, you need to select which category it belongs to. And then you have the option of uploading the documents. One of the document which always comes with the process design document where you can add it or create it on runtime with a task capture tool, or you're just uploading all other artifacts which may be attached to your process already. Like sometimes you created business is already created a lot of process design or maybe some supportive file, they can upload it directly. So these are all possible. And this is how the ideas, each individual ideas page will be like. You have a about section where all different idea related information are there. There's a cost benefit analysis where project managers are primarily work on CBA section sometimes, where they have to provide who are all working on under the project, for how long they are working, and what is the start date, end date, and all different metrics are part of CBA. And components, like there are reusable component published by RPA developer community. So you're really linking this saying, okay, for this automation, there are 5 different reusable components can be linked. For example, there is a SAP login module which you already are published to published to Automation Hub. So this idea can be linked saying, okay, this idea has this 4-5 reusable component, and anytime that also gives us a metric saying, okay, which reusable component are actively used, how many projects are using this reusable component. You can see those as well, and you can also vote about. You see the how many ideas people are following this, how many people are voting it. Sometimes this voting really helps to prioritize some ideas because it shows how many people are really interested on this. And just to speak on that component gallery, so you can submit various reusable component here. It not necessarily be custom activity always. Sometimes you can upload the entire template as well. You created a studio template to upload to log in directly, or maybe to do some activity through maybe through development community. So you just upload the template. So your team can also take advantage to download the template and take use of it. And similarly, it can be a snippet, it can be custom activity, or it can be any connectors. All this is possible. When you upload, you have to provide a lot of it's very like all this component you have to upload, like the NuGet package, supportive documents, some text details. So you can see, so whoever the new user visiting to this particular component gallery, they are basically taking advantage saying which are all possible components available. And primarily this particular section is for the curators. The curators who are working on some reusable component, like this is dedicated role as well, who can upload, it will be reviewed and it will be available in component store. So primarily I see this development team community should contribute to the component gallery to bring a lot of reusable components. And COE can drive this anytime your project is getting developed. Make sure there is a component, reusable component is linked to that. If there is at all, there is a component coming out from this particular automation, make sure it is published to the store so that other project can be reused, because every project there's some components, for sure there will be some reusability, and it is necessary to get those links. Okay, so other thing is on task capture. So this is how the task capture looks. Those who are not aware what's task capture, it's the tool which is another product itself, UiPath, which helps to create a process design document in an automated way. You don't need to create a screenshot, provide all the details. Don't spend time on creating a process design document. Using task capture tool, you can create the entire document with just recording. We'll see a demo, right? Once you create that entire task capture recording on runtime, you can publish directly to your idea. So it is necessary to mandate this particular step, saying once your ideas are getting submitted, immediately ensure your the process team, whoever submit the idea, or maybe someone from the part of the team, creating this process design document, uploading it so that you know, okay, what is the process design document creates. One of the good feature of automation task capture is not only to export a document for PDD, it has also the capability to export a YAML file, right? Which can be reused by developers. The RPA development team can take that YAML file and then they can open it in the studio and take advantage of reusing it. But if you think of, can this move to production? That's not true. The YAML file is just helping in terms of fastening your development, but that's not a production ready code. Just to take all selectors or stability validation, or maybe to take a sanity check on some component of how the users have performed the action, that will really help you, because you're really getting a ready to consume automation script, like the entire YAML files. So it will not follow all the standard, like generally any developers do, is like RE framework, exception handling and all, but it will give you a skeleton of your entire process. So that's, you can ask business while they are creating the process design document to upload that YAML file, so that it will be easier, or you can connect with the user to open the particular task capture document and help them to export it and then get that particular YAML file. Okay, so before we go to pipeline management, I want to show you how really it looks and how we work. Okay, let me just share my screen again and show you the demo of the automation. How do you access? And also, let me share my screen again. So to access Automation Hub, first of all, you need to raise the Automation Hub account. If you already have Automation account, you can go to Cloud portal, or there is a direct URL. You must have got it from Automation Hub UiPath, and there is a link. Or if it is already part of Cloud, if you're creating newly, then it will be part of Cloud by default. So select your account. I'll go to my community account. Okay, so once you have Automation Hub, you will be able to see this in this particular store. If you are requesting for the first time, or you do not have Automation account, then you need to create one, register one request. Basically, you need to go to Automation Hub, and there is a trial account request. Let me show you that. Okay, so you go here. Yep, try Automation Hub for free. Just go here, fill out the form with your old details. It will request a new account for you. And once that is active, go to your admin setting, and you will be able to see your services assigned Automation Hub. Go to tenant setting. You should be able to see this Automation Hub. Just check it. That's the first step you have to do. You will get it trial license as well. If you are doing it for the first time to explore the tool, you can request for your cloud instance for a trial period. And if you once it is trial period is, you can use it for ideas, and it's not all the potential functionality is part of it. But if you are already part of enterprise, you can request it through your CSM and team. So that's the primary step, to request. Once your request is done, go to tenant setting under cloud, enable this particular feature under particular tenant. Like you see here, I'm just selecting one tenant and selected Automation Hub. If you have multiple tenant, you can also enable that. So once your Automation Hub is enabled, just go to Automation Hub, click here to it will take you to Automation Hub portal. It redirected me. So this is the interface where you see all the explore. It directly take you to our explore automation program where different ideas are submitted and who are all by default. If you're creating for the first time, you will see it will not be blank. To help you with your journey, there will be some dummy automation ideas. So you can take that. You can always delete it if you don't need. But there will be some dummy automation ideas to show you how it is really functioning. So what we just learned, how to submit idea and all, how to create users. So first step, if you before we start the journey, remember there is an admin assigned. So your admin needs to set up your account, right? So there will be roles. If you see this is managed access role. So you can create various role here. So these are default dummy roles already part of account owner. What all features are there? System admin, ID approvers. I was speaking about ID approvers. We see this is a special role. You really cannot edit it. It's already showing you the role cannot be edited. Some role cannot be edited, but you can also create some role. I see there is a new role. If you are interested to create some specific role which is missing, you can create it and give that particular role. For example, there is a support. Somehow I was working on one of our team. I see there is no support role, so I created a support role for user management. Right. So same way you can create various roles as in your organization demand. And there is one more role called collaborative role. Remember, there are two type of role. One is your primary role and one is collaborator role. This collaborator role has like it will not assign directly every idea. You can create some collaborator, like project manager is a collaborator. So once your idea is there, you go to like who are all part of this idea, then you just select this collaborative role and assign. So you can also create some collaborative role, like you see RPA developers. Maybe you have various three type of RPA developers. You can create COE RPA developer, federated RPA developers, and give that roles. So you can easily know who are all, which type of developers are working on a given idea. Just a tips. So that is on role assignment. The next section is on categories, which you should look into. Like there will be some dummy categories created when you create any automation hub account, for instance, for the first time. It will give you that finance and other, but maybe based on your organizational structure, you may create your own. For example, if you see these are all dummy already available. So if you want to delete it, make sure your ideas are deleted first before you delete a category. That's important. In order to edit this, click on this use editor. You can add new categories and click on save, right? So let's then take an example. I don't see customer support. I created customer support. Save. Maybe I'll just create default APJ. Yes. Okay. Save. This is how you just start creating your ideas and save. So that will create a different category for customer support team. So same way you can organize it even for the existing groups. Like for example, we created just now customer support. In order to save it alphabetically, I can move it. Or for any existing, you don't want this, you want to delete, just delete it. Or you want to create some new category, just create it. The name is category. Maybe it depends on your type. You can always decide it's called category, you can call function, or you already have a list you want to import. Instead of creating one by one, what you can also do is download this template, category template here. Click on download category. It will download a template for you. So cancel. Okay, so you just click on CSV action, download category. So it will just download the category for you, which further you can edit in the CSV itself. This is this template just exported. If you see, this is the existing category list. Assume you want to add some new all details, just add it into this particular template and then import it directly here. Just say click upload new category. It will bring that entire CSV, validate and upload. So you'll see your categories are updated. So that's the next action to take into account. So that will be the primary setup. There will be a few more setup in terms of questions. You can also customize your questions. The default question, you want to bring some more question, you can do that. That's the layer of flexibility is available to the admin team. So you want maybe UiPath has default 9 question, you want to bring some 2 more question, you can do that. And for assessment section also, you want to bring some more question. All this is possible. So there are 2 type of assessment, high level and detail. So you can always customize the sections to say, okay, I want more questions under this category. And sometimes some questions maybe added some value like weightage. You can say, okay, this should have uh, some impact to the overall calculation. You can also define that. So those are potential opportunity for you, say, to expand the tool capability. To give you one scenario which I come across is in our business is we will not focus only on let's say automation ideas. Sometimes we might have some chatbot ideas. Let's say we want to use there will be some ideas which is apps related but not related to only to RPA. So all this is possible. Like for those scenario, you might think, okay, we might need to introduce a new question, which is really not may not applicable to this or RPA, but there is your automation opportunity, or maybe there is other opportunity for UiPath apps. There is other opportunity for let's say chatbot. So you can also bring those type of questions, which will further help for your idea approver or the COE team to evaluate and take some decision. Yeah, that capability is also there, where you are not using automation hub only for just for RPS centric idea, but you can also expand the tool capability to bring various other part of the product. One of other example could be your insights dashboard. There's a requirement to create some customized insight dashboard, so you can build the tool or customize the tool in a way that business is really submitting insights dashboard requirement over here. All right. So once you set up your account and you invited your users, the next step would be to start working on the automation submission itself, right? So let me submit idea and just show you. So in order to submit idea, as I'm account admin, as you saw, all the different roles are there. So I will be able to simulate various roles, how it should work, so that you just see how next other phases roles will action. So suppose I currently acting as a standard user. So what I will do is I'll submit an idea. So that's the option called share an idea. That means a standard user has the option to submit idea with a simple question. If someone having COE driven like the authorized user role, that drop down auto enables. If the user not having authorized user, then this option will not appear at all. Remember, you will not able to see this drop down if your role is not assigned to that. And similarly, share and automation is also for those who are citizen users, right? So these options are basically depending on your role. This will keep on changing. Currently, I'll act as a standard user. So selected share an idea. So it will bring a simple form. So if you see, this is the question it brings in order to capture my idea details. Let me create a demo. I'll create a PowerPoint. Okay, so there's a PowerPoint automation. There's a PowerPoint automation. I want slide creation, demo slide creation. Just to give some realistic, I'm just giving. Okay, so I have ideas of PowerPoint automation, and here, if you see, as I said, anytime you're submitting idea, it brings you a category selection, which is a mandatory. So I need to select which category this ideas belongs to. It will keep further drill down based on my selection. Let's say I've created this for invoice to cash. Okay, so now this assessment begins. This is just a primary details like what is your automation idea, of which what is the description of which category it really belongs to. Okay, so let me. Okay. So the questions like this. First thing is understanding how your rules are assigned, how decision, what decision you are really taking. Is this straightforward rule or it is really complicated? Like you are. So basically, the question is trying to ask in terms of whether there is a human decision involved or it is very much algorithmic. Assume I go by algorithmic, highly agree there is decisions is very less, but you really working very straightforward rules. It's algorithm approach. I know what to do. Really, there is no brain activity basically. If you think there is a lot of it's not straightforward, highly complex, just select the respective appropriate option from there. How your input looks like. If the input is very digital in nature or it is not digital, there is unstructured in nature and all, that's related to the input. The next question in terms of the data quality, the data is structured, not structured, like how well your data is organized. That is related to the data quality. and let's say it's related to how you think your process is going to be in next 6 months. Do you think your process is getting changed because of some bigger or application change or ERP change or whatever the change your organization is taking an initiative? Do you foresee any type of change? So let me select either agree or disagree some other options. And here it asks if I have some other readily available files. For example, I have an input file. I can just select input and attach the file here. If suppose I have a task process flowchart already available, I can select that option, attach the file for as a supportive file. And very commonly you will see business has this file by default. They may share. Assume some scenarios I don't know, I don't have any file, just I can just select I don't know, and all other section will become grayed out. And here is the important section to choose who would be your process owner. Because as I said before, anytime you're submitting idea, it is very important that your process owners are assigned to your idea. Otherwise, the idea will not be detailed assessment will not happen to your idea. So that's why it's very important to select. As I am the only user, it will show me that user only. If you have multiple users, it will show you in this drop down. And some cases, the submitter may not know who is the process owner. That's also will not stop them to submit the idea. They can select this I don't know and submit the idea itself. Now further down, the idea approvers and the COA team can work in background to assign the process owner, correct process owner to that. And also there is the option to change the process owner always. Like you think, okay, he is not selected the right process owner, that can also be modified in the subsequent step. So one key point to remember, based on your selection on these areas, the high level assessment, there is an internal algorithm which calculates how is your idea looks like. Suppose I click on submit and it will evaluate based on my submission or selection, say how good my idea score is. So it says 76% because I've selected one with on not like I was not sure. Another section I was not having some documents, like I was not prepared. So it just started giving me a score saying, okay, this is how it looks like, but it's not the stop, right? It always goes to idea approvers further evaluate and there are other personas come in the picture. The very next step is on task capture, like where it will ask you to upload the document. You have submitted the idea, but the next step is to create a document for this particular one. So let's see that live. So in order to upload the document, you just click on open task capture. So what will happen here is the tool will like the task capture tool, if it is already installed, it will try to launch it from Automation Hub with a default license from Automation Hub. Remember, that's the license attached already. You don't need to worry for okay where I'll get the license and all. Just install the tool. If you don't have installer, it will also prompt you to download it, install it, and relaunch it. See this pop-up, it will appear. Just click on open task capture. So the license will auto fetch to your task capture because it's already linked, and it will open a session for you which is already linked to the idea which you just submitted. Now see it's launched. My task capture I already have installed version. Now here you can just click on new document and you have the option here to use task capture. Task capture itself will be topic, but maybe high level I'll show you how to create it. It's a very simple interface. You have two options: build a diagram where you can create your process by a diagrammatic approach. You do it manually by drag and drop and design. But sometimes you really not sure about your diagram. Nothing to worry. Just click on capture process. So this capture process will bring a recording window. So this is a recording widget, which will start monitoring my keyboard and mouse. So let's say I start creating a start capture. Now, whatever the action I'll start doing, it will start monitoring that. So I just click on start menu, PowerPoint, and I just, let's say I just click some templates and file, save. Done. This is my steps. So whatever action I've done, it just recorded that. If you see here, Cortana is where I started PowerPoint. If I want to see the detail, double click on it, you will see the details. You can always modify this as well. For example, if I double click further, I don't want people to see my other details. I can blur it out. I can give some text. Suppose I realize there's something is missing. I can also create it by a step recorder, right? I can create this capture mode or document, create empty, record it or add some text. All these actions are possible. I can re-record one step and you can see it's already highlighted what actions I did. And if I want to put some comment, customize it, modify it, and I selected, all this is possible. You see everything is created automatically, right? If after my validation is done, every step I see everything is done correctly, the next step is publish. So click on file, click on export. There are various options. Publish to a local Word doc, publish as a YAML file, which I was telling a developer can take this one directly to a studio, or export this as a JPG file so that you know the process flowchart, or publish directly to Automation Hub. So if you select publish to Automation Hub, what will happen here is this idea, which is like you recorded through task capture, the idea what we submitted, it will link that particular one. So this document will publish directly to that idea. How do we see that? Just click on open browser here. See, this document just now uploaded, right? So that's the stage where you can see this document just uploaded. If I open this one, we download it just to show you the document quality and what details it captured. Like I do have other options to download it directly from here. Like I can download file export. Just to show it there, I downloaded. This is the process. So once you publish, this all get published as a zip to that. See the document quality. It has various options just to explore. So this is our project name. If you see PowerPoint automation, this is table of content. It has who created it, PowerPoint automation, which function it belongs to, like finance and accounting, if you remember. Total execution I took 28.8 seconds. You know, this means the process overall time is 28.2 seconds, which will further be help you in your further assessment, ROI and other stuff. And then this is the high level diagram. We just created a simple diagram, but you can also create a flow chart and start capturing all the steps. And you can see at each step level, what is the summary of time spent and how many interactions happened, what all application windows it interacted, what I have done. If you remember, one of the section we blurred, so that's also been coming as a blurred section so that you are taking care about your sensitive data. And here you just selected click level details along with a timestamp saying how much time it really user spends, right? So everything which a developer or the respective project manager needs to be evaluated, everything is part of it. Now, this document is the one which process design document will help for further design and development. And as you see, there is also a YAML file which you can open directly in Studio. And the SSP file is nothing but the recorder file, right? This is the recorder file which is saved as an .ssp. If you double click on this SSP file, it will open in task capture by default. So development team can always, you don't need to ask, but you can always open it, see that code, publish the code, or you can take advantage of directly published YAML file, right? Which is part of your XML. Okay. All right. So that's how you submit idea. And this is how the ideas are, the user can just upload a document and you can always see all these collaborators who are really working on. These are the process owner, like I'm the same process owner. You can add different collaborators, like add collaborators, select a person and give proper role, which role you want to give and what is his role. Like this is different collaborative role available for this user. So it depends. The more the user you will add with the respective, you will be able to see more these options. All right. So I see there is a question. Let me take that. Can is task capture automation available in community edition? Yeah, as I said, it's available with the trial, community trial. You can activate it. Can we use this task capture to create a PDD for normal UiPath workflow? Okay, so if you think, I'll just take your question the other way. Suppose you don't want to launch it from Automation Hub, but if you want to create it through normally, yes, you can do it. But when you open it for the normal or task capture, it might ask you a license key, right? If I don't launch it from Automation Hub, then task capture tool will expect a license key which you may need to collect it from your CSM. Once you enter the license key and you activate your task capture, you will be able to do it without a linkage from Automation Hub. Like you can do the fresh recording, you can publish it locally, you can start using. But yes, that is possible. But the primary use case is best to avoid that. You can have an idea, get your idea document created over there. Okay, I'll take one last question, then I'll jump to the other section. Does this calculate FT saving by passing any parameters? Yes, it does. So basically what happens once you submit your idea, that's the next section. What will happen is, this is the role happen. For example, I initially act as a standard user or idea submitter. So I submitted idea. You see the score and other details. Now the next step is idea approver. Assume I'm idea approver, so I can approve the idea. Once I approve the idea, it will ask me, okay, I validated all three basic parameters, duplicate check all required details, and I say approved. The moment I approve, the idea status will change from idea to assessment. So it's now turned into assessment, which says not started. The process owner, here I am just acting as process owner in the same idea. So I have this details. You see, this is assessment KPI source blank. Now this section comes where I'll start filling the details like what is process volumetry information. Process volumetry information meaning like primarily which the process is not changing. So let's me give some basic information. Okay, here it starts. So average how many like how many days per year people are working. Let's say I just give 350 considering some holidays. Working hour, let's say 4 hour. Average dollar as a user I know maybe some number I'll just give. What is the employee cost per year? And task capture, like what is the task frequency? The task I'm maybe doing it daily. And activity volume, let's say this is for a daily frequency I may be creating it for 10 times. And number of employee performing that this particular task could be, let's say, 100 employees performing the task, and it is really saving only 2 minutes. But it will compute automatically what is the total processing time it's expect for a year. What is this processing time is, if given this 100 frequency, like 100 times, 10 times per day performed by 100 users, this may expect 117 hours per year. This all get computed internally. Remember, it's not only about the three parameters, it also about how many days you are working in a year, how many hours, how much hours spent and all. That computes further if there is any error rate involved, if there is any rework involved, and it compute how many FT required to do this work. If you see here, it's saying FT required is 0.08 saving, and cost is $208 is a cost saving for this particular process. It's the as is compute happens automatically, right? These details will further be filled by the user saying, okay, I see this process, there is no peak. I see it is complete in the same time. You may be thinking why these other details? These other details are necessary just in case, like once you submit your assessment, it will also compute based on your selection, like is it really giving us this benefit or not, 0.08. Because sometimes there will be some human dependency. Your process may not 100% automatable. Some cases it might be partially, like it is just 70% automatable. Those are the areas which will help, which the algorithm use in background to take some action. Now here is suppose we are using a PowerPoint. You see PowerPoint is not available, so I just create it. You have the option to create your application 2016 version, and I'll just release and it's a thin client. Okay, so you see the summary of the benefit. Automation potential is 99%. So it's auto computed this 99% based on my selection here. There's no pick, how many steps involved, what is the details, digital input is 100% and all. So it computed this. Easy of implementation, how much, what is the percent of easy of implementation, what's the benefit we see, benefit per employee and benefit for currency and all. So this is how the assessment starts. And after the assessment is done, it's basically you are really giving a high level estimation of your benefit, right? That's why it goes to, let me submit the assessment. Now still it isn't, I just saved it, but I can always revisit and submit it. So the process owner responsibility is to submit the assessment. Let's say here it's asking primarily it's a cost saving, quality of productivity. Let's submit it as productivity. All right, so this is now submitted as a productivity. You see the status now changed to qualification. Now here it gives us the benefit summary. This is a productivity based idea, and this is the summary of your benefit, like how much potential benefit it will benefit to the company, 116 hour, benefit in currency is $207, FT saving 0.08. And here I got a badge as well, say I submitted automation there will be some patch attached to it, and all details. Okay, so here, then again, the program manager can approve it for citizen user, approve it for COE. So all this is possible. Like I can approve it just citizen user to develop. Citizen users are non-COE users who are having no code platform like StudioX. They start developing it. So it's assigned to a citizen power user to take that and start working on it and then publish this. So this is, and you can also approve it to a COE team members who will RPA developers will start taking this with the help of project manager. That's the way you start working with this particular automation hub. Now let me move on to the next section very quickly, just to show you. After you submit idea, the very next section is the pipeline management. You just now see, as a process owner, I submitted. Right now, the pipeline management is basically you're really managing your entire pipelines. Take a decision. So first is your opportunity submission, the idea submission. This is what we just did. You submit your idea, you get a score. The next step is you upload a task capture document, and then it goes to assessment. After the assessment is done, the program manager are looking into these details, like what all ideas submitted against which all functions or category, and what is like what's the potential benefit attached. Do you see there is a benefit details and all? You can always take a decision as a program manager saying which idea to approve, which idea to reject, and all different personas can take a role here. Like it's not only about program manager. All different users can come here and see what all ideas running under what all phases as well, right? Saying development phase, assessment phase, and all. And some of the views will be restricted based on role. So no need to worry saying, okay, everybody will start saying my benefits, or everybody will start saying my some other data which they should not. So those can also be controlled. And once your idea started submitting, your analysis is start, you can also see this type of dashboard at an idea level. Like this is a return on investment dashboard for this particular idea. How this is computed? First, the baseline provided by the user, if you remember, there is a process volumetry information. And during the development time, your project manager will provide the details saying how, when, which project, like when is the start time, end time of each of the phase, and which are the roles which is working for how much percentage, and which software you are using. So at a admin, there is one screen where you can set the cost for everything, like what is the unattended cost, attended cost, development cost, all this cost you can define. After that, this dashboard will bring saying your initial pre-automation cost, during the development year one cost, year two cost, because of the first year you'll have some development cost attached. In the next year onwards, there will be no development cost. So all this will be computed accordingly, start projecting you this particular views. Okay. All right. So you can also see a decision pipeline dashboard for the pipeline manager, where sometimes it is difficult for you, let's say, to take a decision which ideas you should approve or prioritize. That's why this particular view, decision pipeline view, will help you how many ideas are running, which are under what nature. Some will be easy, complex, difficult, and based on your bandwidth and capacity with your COE development team, you can take a decision which one to approve, which one to put on hold, which one to reject if there is really no potential benefit. And some cases, your citizen developers are really bringing capability. Like as you see, I just approved one idea. So citizen developer can really contribute here, saying, okay, I see this idea I developed, and these are my potential benefit pre-development or after development. Because nature of development with citizen automation is going to be very small. Like these are all task automation. COE development is mostly on process automation. So you'll see those difference, and those type of view can also be brought as a different dashboard or major views into the tool. All right. So now as a next step, we'll just see a few more stuff. Before I go to slide, I just want to show you in real. Remember a scenario where when I started, I mentioned you do have an option called after you publish, you have an option of, let's say, we developing this automation. You can also have an option creating a automation store for your normal users to take advantage of saying, okay, I want to explore what all automations already published, which I want to use it directly on my store. So like in my digital assistant, assume I have a digital assistant, I go to my digital assistant and I say, okay, this is the places where all my automations are available. I just click on run. Now, let's say someone in your organization is interested to see what all automations CO has published or team has published for me to use. So if you go to automation store, in this automation store, it is reflecting those automations which are already published from Automation Hub with the package, right? So if you publish an automation ideas, develop an automation idea, and you create some automation and publish it, it will start appearing here. Let's show you an example. Okay, so we created a PowerPoint idea. So if I go here, Automation Hub. Okay, so while this is opening, I'll create a small automation here with PowerPoint. Create. This is my StudioX interface where I'm just creating a simple PowerPoint automation. Okay, so use PowerPoint. I'll just ask and run. I don't have any other, just save this file. Or maybe I can publish directly like or with a message box. All right. Done. So let's say I just publish, I just want to create a small sample automation. So this is publishing locally to my my path. I created this, published it, done. So maybe now we'll go to our store, like the Automation Hub. We created sure. So PowerPoint automation. This is the idea we just submitted in our previous demo. Now, if you remember, this was with the starters called development, right? Citizen development. Okay, so you see this is citizen development. So I will say action, start development. I created already the automation. I just created start development. So citizen developer owning this created development. After my development is done, my next step to do is technical review. So I call this for a technical review. So I submitted this for a technical review. And now what I'll do is basically I'll upload the component, whatever document I have. Let's say I use some component, a reusable component, or maybe I have some document. What I'll do is as the next, maybe I just need to say it is approved. Okay, as a technical reviewer, basically just just to call out, don't get confusing. I'm doing everything, but in production everything will not be possible. Your roles, a respective role will take that, because I'm just demo purpose. I took all the roles so that every time I'm performing as a different role. So previous role I perform as a technical reviewer, development I perform as a citizen developer. Now as a technical reviewer, after you can also publish it for the users to use. See this option appear now, publish, because it is in live, it is in production. That means it is ready to publish. So if you think some automation can be used by other user, that will go to automation store. Not necessarily everything will go to automation store. I understand PowerPoint automation. It's a demo slide creation. Everybody should use it. I just click on publish. Here it is asking me, okay, give the details like what is the process duration. This I said will take 2 minutes. Error rate is 0. Rework time is 0. So you just create, continue. Now it'll ask, okay, select the package. So which package to publish? If you already uploaded a NuGet package here, it will give you that option directly. If you don't upload, it will ask you to upload on this. So let me select that PowerPoint creation. This is the file. It's by default showing you NuGet package. Create PowerPoint and publish. And then you click on publish. So basically you attach your project, what you developed with this automation. Done. So next step is, let's go to store and see this in real time. So if I go to store, this is my summary saying it is 2-minute activity, 0% error rate, before and after, like how much really it is doing, and high level details like the diagram and all. So if you go to automation store as a normal user, you can see one more box appear as apps, right? These are, if you are aware of our apps view, it will come as apps view. So I clicked on automation store. It's loading my store. If you remember, initially I had only one. Now it will appear 2. See, PowerPoint creation is published. You can let the user take this. You can give rating, you can use it and all this. I'm just a single user here. Just if in case I'm interested to take this automation to use, they can click on get. While I click on get, what it will do in background is it will publish this particular automation to my personal workspace. So to my personal workspace in the orchestrator. So because I am a citizen user, I have a personal workspace attached uh, to my store. Now see, it's appear automatically. Create PowerPoint. This is just now published to my personal workspace from automation store. So this is the beauty of your automation store with automation hub. You create an automation hub idea, you submit your automation hub idea. After that, you publish it. Once you publish, user can go to automation store, visit all your ideas, like whichever they're interested, they can click on get, it directly appear where I can just go play, run it. Or if I'm not interested, I can delete it from personal workspace as well. So I'm saying, okay, I'm not interested to run it. I just go here and delete it. So I just delete it, right? So I can, this is how you just start working with all your automation store where published workspace can be done. Okay, let's go to slide now. So whatever we just discussed, that is your automation store. Basically, it is giving you the capability to review all these automations. Once it is developed, you can publish it. So people are really getting benefit of all these different profiles to see simplified way. You are one, like instead of searching everywhere, you just have a simplified view to find which all ready to consume automation for you and how easily you can take it for your use. Same way, it has its own capability, which is bringing that governance control, like whichever the user has the role to the particular automation store, like the category, they will be able to see those automations. It's all controlled from your access level. So this is all possible. Like everybody will not get all the automations based on whatever you have approved, that can be visible to the user. And same way, it can be configured, get access, get delete, run. You can do all these automations from automation store. Okay. All right, so that's and we saw this how it is really helping you in terms of the benefit, post automation benefit. You can see a summary, like whatever the user as a developer, it is responsible for us to submit it during this particular publish, so that people can see and you can give rating, give any questions. So who is the submitter will go to them directly. So that's how it is helping. Any question before we go to Open API? Okay, there is a question. I'll just take few. Task capture can create document from UiPath Studio based on comments. No, there is another. So OM has a question saying task capture can create document from UiPath Studio. So task capture, I think it's question a little bit, I'm confused because task capture comes before Studio. Task capture is helping you to create a YAML file which can consumed in Studio. So that's way to see this. There's one more question: is do you have a version control once component is published? Like any change to the mic? Yeah, so there is. You can always have those different versions called out. These are all versions, and you have a version management over there. But not typical TFS kind of version control, but at least you can call out which all versions. It will always ask you what is the major version, minor version, once you are publishing any component. Okay, the last question I'll take is it possible to do filtering just like Excel? See the number of automation initiatives, specific business rule pair. Yeah, it is. It is possible. So how do you do that? It's a good question. So if you go to filter, you have this cool filter option. If you see here, we can always select, I want to see for finance, this only for, let's say, only this category, and let's say subcategory, and which function, like which all application you want to interested to see, which employee driven, COE driven, which submitter unit you are interested, which idea, let's say, which particular phase you want interested to see, and click on apply. So this will bring you that view. And so one more interesting cool feature here is if you go to automation pipeline and you can apply the similar filter, like whichever is interested for you. For example, there is an idea approver. He will not be interested to see everything. He will be interested which is pending for my own action, right? So if you go to automation pipeline and you can give a filter view saying, I'm interested to see for, let's say, only for idea waiting for this, right? Let's say I apply this. I'm interested to see only those which are in idea phase because I have some action to do. Then what I'll do, I'll just click on save view. So if you click the save view, next time you come here, it will always be with this particular view because you are creating a view for your own role, right? So that's how you can apply the filter as well as you can save the view for future as well. You don't need to apply it again and again. Okay. Now let's understand the last bit of this particular session. We will learn is Open API, right? One of the dashboard capability, if you think after you do this activity, you will be very much interested, or your leadership team will be very much interested to see what is the analytics behind, how is it performing. So Automation Hub today is offering 4 default dashboard which will help you to analyze, okay, how is your automation program is as a cost perspective, as a planning and cost report. You can see these details. So it also further drill down at a function level, like submitter function unit and all different. You can do all these selections to view this, but you can show you, it will show you at a result saying pipeline evaluation, what's going on, what is your estimated benefit for the year, for 1 year. You can show you this particular view. And remember, this is not customizable, right? You cannot modify this, but yes, it gives you a view. Similarly, you go to our average automation cost, you will have a detailed step-by-step tabular view saying, okay, each of these particular ideas you are developing, what's the cost involvement. But in order to get this view, make sure your cost benefit analysis section is filled correctly. Otherwise, it will not bring you this views and dashboard. So it will, to get this dashboard correctly, it is important your ideas having the right data. Your volumetry information are filled, your process details are filled, so you can see this implementation cost, software cost. Because we have not set anything, it's just coming blank, right? That's important. And planning report is a completely, there is no diagram there, it's completely a table where you can see each ideas, how is the date, and planning wise how it is looks like, right? So let it load. It will bring me a tabular view. It's bringing a tabular view saying, okay, these are all your ideas. And if I go to right side, see, this is how it gives which ideas, like how many days slippage, whether there is a delta. Initially it's planned for 4 days, actuals looks like 5 days, so your delta is 1. So these are all type of view we can bring here, which is default, and same goes to cost report also. So, but one of the problem you might, this is definitely very good. You can use it to see by phases, by different performance, but in order to customize, that may not suffice your need always. You might think, okay, that's not all. I just need few more details, like each function, some more own customized view. So how do you do that? If you are aware of insights, UiPath Insights has that capability to do some customized analytics, but today that feature is not there in Automation Hub. It's part of the future roadmap of UiPath, where Automation Hub can be part of Insights. But it also giving us a flexibility to use one capability called Open API, right? So Open API is the way where you can do this both get and post. It's not only about dashboard. It also have some. Suppose you want to do some post method with outside of your UiPath cloud, or you want to do some get method with outside of your cloud to get your idea funnel and all. So you can always create some token here. The way to manage this API is you have to create a token. I will delete this token post this session because this is definitely sensitive. So just to let you know, we can create this token and that will be reused. How do you create a token? Just click on generate token, give a token name. Let's I just give demo, give some, I give my name here, and who is the user need to run it. You can also give a user specific so that your data is sensitive as saved, and click on save. You can create these tokens and give it to user who are interested to use API, right? So anytime some user come back to you, I want a API connection, create the user, give them the respective role and access, then give this API keys, create a generated token, and then align that user here. That's the first step. So we create an open API token, which will further be consumed. Now, how do I evaluate and see these details, right? In order to go to API, we have a Swagger page. Let me, I copy the Swagger before the session. Yeah, we have a Swagger here. Yes, this is the link. So if you see this Swagger, this is our Swagger created for Automation Hub. It's also part of documentation if you go deals. it will give you all details like what all API functionality available as part of automation hub. There are various functionality. Like if I go back to my slide just to show you quickly, we have get automation ideas, get automation pipeline, which is nothing but your pipeline completely will come. And you can also do post method. If you see, there is a process where you can submit directly to automation hub. I'll tell you one of the example where in our organization, what I have done is there was a requirement where people may not come directly to automation hub, but they will submit a Microsoft forms. So what I've done, I've created a view there saying you submit a form, Microsoft form as a simple idea. Now there is a open API capability using this particular feature. Someone submitting the form survey, I take that directly into automation hub, because once you implement automation hub, make sure you have one common standard. Your entire idea funnel is in automation hub. It will not go to separate Excel, separate SharePoint, separate email or different stuff. It has to be there. Even if you have a different interface, using this open API capability, you can bring that bridge, like you can connect that bridge to say, okay, no matter you're submitting anywhere, the funnel is getting submitted there. So you come directly to automation hub or you're transiting the idea through this method. Okay. So if you're interested to test any of this, how to test that, I'll do. Go to your automation. Let's say I copied this token key. Go here, click on authorized, click on authorize and then close. So this is now authorized with that token key. Suppose I'm interested just to show you a simple get method of all users. Try it out. Let's give here test. This is default. There are certain things that are default, like content should be there. API key is giving test. I give my name, etc. And then this is all default. So I'll just leave it as is, just to show you, and then click on execute. So if everything looks okay, it will just run. Say if it is, I'm already got 200 response, looks it is success. So the user which is already part of the portal is, this is the user details. So this is how you test it, and you can get to know all different functionality, get post various functionality. One of the example I'll show you with this next 7 minutes is how do you create a Power BI dashboard with this, right? With OpenAPI. Let me create a new Power BI view. Just launching this page. Just a second. Yeah, so this is my Power BI getting launched. Okay, so let's see how do you connect to your OpenAPI functionality. So just click on get data, click on web, because that's a web based authentication. Now let's give the URL, right? So the URL is here. If you see this portal, just now we did a run. So the URL, if you see, this is the URL: HTTP automation hub OpenAPI v1 OpenAPI, and the name of your basically name of your get or post method. So same way we have to build the URL. Let me go to automation pipeline, because that's the interesting which you will be interested to see. Okay, what all ideas I have. That's how we have to generate the UI. But to faster track, what I've done is I've created the UI already, like the URL. So this is the same till OpenAPI v1 OpenAPI, and after that you will need to give that get or post method name. So just don't copy this directly. You have to make sure you are copying only till v1, then you are giving OpenAPI and your pipeline name. The easy way to get it, don't need to remember. Remember, this is still v1, and then your name is, it is the name. So it's, to click on this get, it will give you this details. This is your name of, after OpenAPI, just give automation pipeline, and this is the details. Now let me show you how you will really consume it, right? So automation pipeline will basically give you all the automation ideas. So let me copy paste the URL. This is the URL, automation of URL, API v1 OpenAPI, and this. Click on OK. Okay. We need to provide a little more details there. Click on advanced. So here we need to pass some HTTP required details. So see here, if you go to Automation Hub and the parameters, there are certain important parameters. If you see it's already showing required parameter, you cannot skip those parameters. So one of the parameters is content type. Just copy this content type, copy it here. This is applications plus JSON, the value. Next is app key. In our key, we have given a app key. So that's my name. So I'll just give that app key. The next is XH OpenAPI auth. This is a OpenAPI token authentication which is required. It's mandatory to pass. And copy it correctly. Okay. And then select this OpenAPI token. The last one is there is nothing important here. There is one, just keep a note, you need to pass your authorization. It is important to pass the authorization, otherwise it will not log in. You remember in this, during the testing, we created an authorization key, right? So you have to copy this authorization key. This key is nothing but the key which we just created. This key alone will not work. That's one of the trick. You have to take that barrier barrier text, which needs to be prefixed at the beginning. Done. What I did, I copy the URL under this URL part. If you want to add some filter, you can do it by add parameter and then do that. But HTTP headers are important. Pass the first header, which is nothing but your application slash JSON, content type, open keys, the key what you said during the token creation. I think I just wrong. Yeah. And after that, you have this OpenAPI auth, OpenAPI token, and then authorization with your barrier and the key. After that, click on OK. So it's basically trying to authenticate. Great. So it's authenticated 200 starters code. We got the record. Click on record. You have all this page size. These are all coming from the filter. But default page size is 10. So it's bringing that. Now see the processes. These are all processes. Now just click on to table because that's where we have to bring all this process into table. I don't want to format it further. So I just click OK. Now this is my table. You might be saying, okay, this is it's not useful. To expand this further, click on this particular tab and just click OK. See, everything is here. We created demo PowerPoint automation just now. It's appeared. It has a lot of column, right? Some column will be in record. Let me show you one column. See, this column is record, but record means it has more associated IDs, user ID, email ID, and all, which I can just select only one and say I need to see only the email ID. So this is the email ID who is actioned on this. Like this, you can proceed further with all details. Like here as well, I just need to select a name, right? Name is from my email ID admin. So like this, it start appearing. Now click on close and apply. You got your data set under field, right? It's just preparing. So it's ready. Now your automation table is ready as a field. All the fields are appearing. Now depending on you, however the visualization you want to bring into. Let's say I created one pie chart. I'll say process name. If I confuse with the names, let me give process name, values, and let's say give status or page. Maybe I can say status name. See, it's giving me a view saying on my how many are in production, how many are awaiting review approval. There will be on page name. So like this, you can keep continuing building your dashboard. You have all the data points, however you want to bring by categories, by processes. All these views can be done from here because you have the data. And this is just a dashboard creation. Now you can think of some use cases where you are doing some post method where you are submitting ideas or altering the idea status by some API calls from external source and all. So this is all possible through open API capability. So all these functionalities are part of it: automation ideas, pipeline, category selection, application selection, cost benefit analysis. So all this is part of your open API process. One of the example I've just given, this URL remains same. Just you need to change the respective after Open API, whichever the get or post method you want to do, and follow the barrier token approach. All right, now I'm open for any question. So,
Hi, Sishira, Dilip here.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's an excellent session and it's very informative. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so I was going through this Automation Hub couple of days and I'm trying to figure out, and it has excellent features in it. And I had two questions. I couldn't be able to figure it out. One is, how do I raise a CR and tag it to the original project? Because I didn't find any option apart from creating a new ideas. So that is my first question. And second is, um, the checklist, when we move from one phase to another phase during the development, so let's say from the design to the development or development to the testing, we do have a checklist that needs to be completed. Without that, we cannot move from one stage to another. That is another feature I couldn't able to find it out in the Automation Hub. So do you happen to know that, or it's something that they need to add that feature into the Automation Hub?
Yeah, let me add. So it's a very good question, Dilip. You really nailed it. What's the challenge today with Automation Hub? So what is missing here is the project management capability whenever it comes for Automation Hub. Basically, Automation Hub is really helping us in terms of driving the idea. But when it comes for your project management, sometimes it is CR or demand management and all, which is very detailed in nature. Like when it comes for a project implementation, but that's 4 phases changing is not enough. So that project management piece is not part of Automation Hub today, but there will be some workaround. Like today, you just now called out, there will be a new idea you have to submit. Some cases, what we also have done is we created a separate customized question, right? And then keep on updating that field whenever there is a new idea, like new change. We just keep on updating that, saying, oh, this is the change log for that particular field, and that's one. Or sometimes we create a new idea and then link it, saying this is, we take a decision saying if it is a major development attached to the CR, then it is a sub project created under automation ID X, because every idea has an automation ID, and you link that particular sub idea with the primary ID, so it's always linked. We know that. Otherwise, if it is small in nature, we update through that customized question. But there is no out of box capability where you say, okay, there is a change and that's been tracked. It's all workaround, but that's the way you have to manage it. The other thing you mentioned related to the checklist, which is managed. Basically, what happens is we management of status is managed through a project manager, right? Basically, when it comes for implementation, project manager is responsible to update the status. So every role when you assign, like there's a solution architect, he's a collaborator. In order to track the solution architect completes the role or the developer completes the role, he has to upload the associated document. That's the option available for the developers. And once they do that, then project manager can validate whether before even I change the status, whether this is available or not. But yes, system will not force for that. Like you can always change the status from idea to live without doing anything. But this is a process which needs to be followed within organization to say, okay, well, after I evaluated these documents, because once development say I completed, then the checklist, code review checklist, or the DST, which is called development specification document, or the respective approvals are uploaded, then only the project manager changing it hypercare. If it is a UAT, you are then uploading all these documents to say, okay, my code is ready and synced. So all these artifacts needs to be validated. Not it's validated manually. I agree. There is no, the system will not force you to stop there unless it is linked. But today it is done on that layer. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so there is a question. PPT will be shared. Yeah, recording will be available after this session. Yeah. Any other questions? And thanks for being patient to extend for another 5 minutes. Thank you. All right. Thanks everyone for joining in. Until then, let's see you next time. Bye.